Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of Bridge House Interactive, where we bring our work, our team, and clients to the screen through video and voice. I'm incredibly happy to have our service group lead for Firm Fund, Lance Shoulders, joining us. Thanks for being here, Lance. How does it feel to be on the other side of the table?
It feels great, Lisa. I think I'm going to be doing more talking in these than I normally do, and I really appreciate you stepping in to host.
Hey, not a problem. It's my pleasure. Before we get into specific Firm Fund topics, tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, I'd be happy to, Lisa. I have over 30 years of professional experience, largely in consulting and management services, including 10 years at a marketing agency. I also worked in distribution for over 10 years at a portfolio company that was owned by a large private equity firm. My industry experience has largely been concentrated in manufacturing, things like forest products, chemicals, plastics, industrial gas, and agricultural seed. In addition to marketing, I also have a lot of experience across other functions, including supply chain, commercial, and product operations. Been in Atlanta most of my life, so familiar with the airport, and was fortunate enough to play college basketball at the Division III level, so it was the love of the game.
Great. Thanks for that. What brought you to Bridge House?
Well, it all started with our Chief Growth Officer, Jeff Gibbons. He and I worked at a consulting company many moons ago, ironically in the EHS space. And we became close friends, attended many pro football games together, and stayed in touch as our careers took different paths. Fast forward literally about 2 decades. When I was at the marketing agency I referenced, we reconnected and Bridge House became my client. We did a strategic marketing exercise where I really got to learn about the business model, the brand, and I was even able to get access to the customers, which was fantastic. It was after that experience that I realized that Bridge House was a destination company in a destination industry. Took a couple more years, but the opportunity shaped up at Bridge House, and you, Jeff, and the team were able to make it happen.
I appreciate you sharing that perspective, and we are really thrilled to have you with us.
Thanks.
Now let's get into your service group a bit. Firm Fund. What is this team about?
Sure. Bridge House's Firm Fund Investment Lifecycle Services Group has supported over 60 middle and upper middle market private equity and private credit debt firms. In doing that, we developed their ESG programs, helped them implement them, including ESG policy development, as well as ESG due diligence integration, which include portfolio metrics and monitoring strategy. We also cover UNPRI mock scoring and gap analysis. And we also support our clients who have signed up for specific regulatory requirements like EDCI or SFDR in Europe. Last year, as an example, we collaborated with our clients to collect ESG metrics and KPIs from over 200 portfolio companies. We strive to implement ESG programs fit for firm purpose that cover key events such as fundraising, deal flow, both at acquisition and exit, and ongoing ESG monitoring and measurement.
Thanks for that overview. We have a key slide in most of our decks called "What Does Good Look Like?" Can you tell us about that?
Sure. You always need a great anchor slide, Lisa, and that is one for the Firm Fund Service Group. It's really a representation of stages of the investment lifecycle for firms, from fundraising, due diligence, portfolio company hold and management, and then exit. Across these stages, we highlight the key ESG needs. For instance, guiding principles maybe at fundraising, knowledge at due diligence, and measurement while you're managing the investment. We also include value creation at the portfolio company level, where our corporate services group offerings like climate risk and energy management come into play. Those are 2 examples of services beyond just ESG policy and program development that show what we provide and how we can meet the need during the life cycle stages that I mentioned.
Great. Thanks for that description. What makes Bridge House unique across the Firm Fund services?
I think the one differentiation I alluded to in the overview for Firm Fund is we strive to be design and implement fit-for-purpose ESG programs for our clients and their respective portfolio companies. We are not an ESG hammer looking for an ESG nail. That's the flexibility we provide. Additionally, we are also prescriptive where we need to be with our clients. Much of this is still new for the middle market private equity space, and the landscape is dynamic. So really understanding our clients' investment strategies, where the money comes from, what companies do they want to deploy that capital to, really helps us set the ESG narrative and get those programs in place that will have them get ahead of the ESG game. It also helps our clients say no to requests, sometimes from their LPs, because the decisions are tied back to the investment strategies. We strive to be prescriptive, but we always have a why behind the approaches and the solutions we suggest implementing.
Great. Appreciate that, Lance. Nice to hear how Bridge House's approach is unique. Shifting gears a bit, what are some of the emerging trends or topics you're noticing?
Depth and completeness of your ESG program. If you want easier access to capital, you need to put a program in place beyond just a policy statement. There's no such thing as there can be no such thing as an ESG paper tagger now. We've seen this in the evolution of the LP's questions to our clients regarding their ESG programs. They're certainly asking more beyond, do you have a policy? And you can bet the LPs are keeping track of these responses. That goes back to the prescriptive approach that I mentioned a little bit earlier. This is rooted in the overall firm's investment strategies. Additionally, our clients need to be prepared to support ESG frameworks and standards where their strategy has taken them. While that alphabet soup of ESG standards and frameworks will harmonize over time, if your strategy is liquidity from Europe with operations in Europe, you better be prepared to meet those regulatory standards and requirements, which will not line up 100% with what's required or expected in other geographies.
Thanks, Lance. One last question before we wrap. How do you see our clients' needs evolving in the next year or two across these services? And how is Bridge House prepared to help them?
I see the needs centering around two dimensions, Lisa. Efficiency and leverage. Efficiency goes directly to what we discussed a minute ago. There's not going to be one global ESG standard for a while, so you have to pay to play. The key is, how can I optimize something like my portfolio monitoring so that it addresses all the standards that it requires that matters to our clients and their investors and not overburden everyone. We see efficiency also coming into play for the LP's request for information on ESG. It's becoming more frequent and robust, so a library of responses our clients can reference is really starting to take off. The leverage dimension really comes down to data. Once you have a purpose-built ESG program in place, you'll be getting insightful data from your portfolio companies and across the funds. This gives you a great opportunity to leverage that data and ultimately turn these insights into action that's going to result in value creation. Bridge House is already moving our services down those dimensions with expertise across the major global standards and collecting that data for our clients, not just collecting it, but saying, what do we do with it?
Thanks, Lance, for all your time and the detail about Bridge House's Firm Fund Group. It was fun for me to ask the questions on this one. That wraps up this installment of Bridge House Interactive. Stay tuned for new episodes on bridgehouseadvisors.com. Thanks again, Lance.
You're welcome, Lisa. Appreciate you hosting.
No problem.